In this edition of RPP News, a close encounter of the first kind, it's local versus state government, and the Peninsula farewells a hero. Hello, I'm Catie Sharp. Welcome to the latest edition of RPP News, bringing you stories from across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula. Locals in the wider Frankston area were left scratching their heads last weekend at reports of mystery lights in their night sky. Last Saturday, shortly after 6 p.m, residents looking southeast spotted a trail of objects that lit up the sky. The display ended where the lights appeared to merge and disappear over the horizon. President of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, Mark Iscaro, assured RPP that observers had not had a close encounter. They had in fact witnessed an array of Starlink satellites being released into low Earth orbit by one of Elon Musk's SpaceX rockets.
They were moving through the sky in a pattern. That was absolutely Starlink, like a train of lights. And then what happens is as they move past, they get further and further apart from each other and start to slowly take up their positions in the sky. Don't need to be alarmed at all. Every time those sort of things happen, when a new batch goes up, we do get a lot of phone calls.
SpaceX started launching Starlink satellites 4 years ago. There are currently some 4,000 in orbit, with plans for another 12,000 to be added to the network in coming years. A local teenager has been arrested this week following a suspicious fire in South Bank. Arathi Shashikumar has the details.
Melbourne Crime Investigation Unit detectives arrested 2 male youths in relation to a suspicious fire in South Bank early this week. 15-year-old from Safety Beach and 13-year-old from Little River were arrested at Southern Cross Station in relation to a building fire on Clarendon Street just after 4 p.m. on Thursday, the 6th of July. While no one was inside the abandoned warehouse at the time of the incident, the building sustained extensive damage. The 2 boys were released and are expected to be charged with arson. Police also expect to charge them with a series of thefts, robberies and an attempted armed robbery in Melbourne CBD in recent weeks. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers.
Mornington Peninsula Shire Councillor Antonella Celli did not hold back on her concerns about the upcoming Electoral Commission review of local government structure, and in particular its one councillor, one ward policy. The review commences this October and its reforms will be enacted in time for the 2024 council elections. Councillor Celli says the usual process of reform has been rewritten by the Victorian government, sidelining the Electoral Commission in favour of the minister.
In the previous Local Government Acts of 89, it provided electoral representative reviews to be undertaken by the VEC in any manner that the VEC considered appropriate. So they've actually been totally displaced completely out of this process. And it's right, it's not democratic. There are other words that we could use to describe these kind of political actions, but I might get censured or banned or put on a blacklist or something if I was actually to name it. So we better keep it nameless, but we all know what we're talking about.
The Mornington Yacht Club has issued new guidelines after an outcry earlier this year caused by offensive boat names. The club's general committee, made up of 8 men and 1 woman, has devised a new code that states boat names that denigrate a person or group of people based on gender, age, ability, sexual orientation, religion or ethnicity must be renamed or stay away from the club indefinitely. The Age has reported that the boat, which was the focus of the original complaint, has been permitted to keep the name Himalayan Women. RPP is mourning the loss of broadcaster Dennis Gist, who passed away last week after a short illness. Dennis, who was part of the RPP team for 15 years, will be remembered for his contribution to community radio, as well as his roles assisting the RSL and the National Vietnam Veterans Museum. Dennis served with distinction in the Australian Navy with a number of deployments aboard HMAS Sydney during the Vietnam conflict and is well known in the veteran community. His passing was noted by the Mayor of the Shire at this week's council meeting.
On behalf of my councillor colleagues, Shire staff and the broader community, I would like to pay my respects to the late Dennis John Gist and acknowledge his work as a volunteer radio presenter, an ambassador for maritime history and an advocate for Vietnam War veterans. Dennis was a stalwart of local community radio station RPP-FM, volunteering his time there for many years. He was a champion of positive ageing, introducing a PACE on-air segment featuring some of the important work the Shire does with the Peninsula Advisory Committee for Elders and focusing on issues impacting older residents. His radio voice and MC skills were put to good use in support of numerous community causes, including the Western Port Festival. And he also worked hard for many years to raise support for the creation of a maritime museum at Hastings. Perhaps one of Dennis's greatest achievements was in fighting for justice for those sailors who served alongside him on HMAS Sydney and other ships during the Vietnam War. Despite being deployed to provide logistical support for the war effort, and twice sailing into the thick of battle, the Australian government decided not to recognise the ship's crew as being on active service for war service benefits. Dennis successfully challenged this in the High Court in 1986, ensuring those who served gained the honour and recognition they warranted. Dennis will be remembered by many as one of life's gentlemen. He had a zest for life and was held in high esteem by the community. During his lifetime, he received numerous awards and honours, including our very own Dallas Sargent Award for Senior Achiever of the Year in 2019. We take this opportunity to thank Dennis Gist for all that he did for our community, and we extend our condolences to his family, Dennis's partner Sandra, stepchildren Grant and Cherie, and grandchildren Frankie, Lola and George. Vale Dennis Gist.
Our condolences go to his family and friends. And the Circus is coming to the Frankston Arts Centre this coming Thursday. By a Thread is an ensemble featuring 7 acrobats and 30 metres of rope, offering rich aerial acrobatics from some of Australia's best circus artists. The show weaves acrobatics and intricate choreography through moments of hilarity, romance, fear and friendship, uncovering the threads of connection present in all relationships. Tickets are available online and at the Frankston Arts Centre box office. After the break, Bianca will have the coming week's weather report.
Battery World now open in Mornington.
We know batteries. We know our 75 D23Ls from our DIN 65 LHs. And we know which is best for you. We have the range and a spark no one else can match, because we live and breathe batteries. Those beautiful boxes and cylinders that power our lives and our passions. That's why we're the batteryologists. We're Battery World.
Battery World Shop 1, 43 Mornington Tire Road, Mornington.
More and more people with a taste for quality are shopping at Eliza Meats. Kevin and his lean team pride themselves on the finest cuts, from juicy steaks and roasts to high-grade mince and sausages. And Eliza Meats are the gourmet specialists. Inquire about Eliza Meats Spit Hire. Phone 9787 4473 for a mouth-watering meal fit for a king. It's all at Eliza Meats. See our sponsor Kevin at Eliza Meats, 112B Mount Eliza Way, a station sponsor.
With interest rates on the rise, there's never been a better time to review your home loan. And there's never been a better bank to help you. Whether you're a new or existing Bendigo Bank customer, book an appointment for a home loan health check today.
Established in 1988, Progress Signs has been servicing the local community for 30 years. Located on the Mornington Peninsula, they are the #1 destination for all your signage needs, specialising in a variety of signage from vehicles to shop fronts, occasional and corporate events, short-term, long-term and everything in between. If it's signs you need, be it large or small, Progress Signs is the place to call. Available 24/7 at progress-signs.com.au or call the team on 5975 9188. Thinking signs? Think Progress Signs, a station sponsor.
Welcome back. We go now to Bianca for this week's weather.
Hello, I'm Bianca and welcome to this week's RPP weather update. Well, the last few days have been warmer than expected, however the warm spell may not last. Let's dive into this week's details. Today, Sunday the 16th of July, should bring us a very cloudy day with no rain predicted over the Mornington Peninsula. We should reach a low of 7 and a high of 14. Monday brings us another mostly cloudy day. We should experience a low of 8 and a cool top of 14. Tuesday will bring some light rain with some sunny breaks in the cloud cover. We can expect a top of 14 and a low of 7. Wednesday sees the sun returning with a chilly low of 6 and a high of 14. Thursday sees the sun continuing to shine. We should reach a high of 14 and a low of 8. Friday brings us a mostly cloudy cold day with glimpses of the sun in the cloud breaks. We can expect a top of 15 and a low of 9. And finally, Saturday will bring us a mostly cloudy day with little to no rain. We should expect a high of 14 and a low of 9. Well, that's all for this week. Try to stay warm, and I will see you again next week with another RPP weather update.
And now to our surf guru Muzz for the surf report.
Hey, it's Muzz here with this week's Mornington Peninsula surf report. Back again. It's been a pretty reasonable week of waves in Western Port. The wind sort of fluctuates between that west-northwest around to the north, so it's gone back to the north for the next couple of days. And looks like the swell's going to maintain. It's not going to set the world on fire. It's not going to be big, but there's going to be pretty much waves the whole way through in the forecast week. Hovering around that 2 to 3 foot mark in Western Port. A few days maybe at Flinders because the wind will go back around to the north probably about Tuesday of next week. But the rest of the time, if you're content with small clean waves in Western Port, you will be well satisfied over the next week like you have been since last Sunday when the swell first appeared. So enjoy, water's cold, at least the sun's been out a few days, but it is about to get a bit cold and wet and blowy again. But there's at the moment no foreseeable big jump into swell, just a constant swell with offshore. So enjoy, and I'll see you next week.
And that's all from our team here at RPP News, serving the community with stories that matter to you. Keep watching and do tell your friends. Bringing the news from coast to coast across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula, I'm Catie Sharp. See you for the next edition.